True discipline doesn't come from external pressure, but from an internal choice. It's more than just a routine. It's a silent commitment we make to ourselves. Every morning, we are invited to walk towards what truly matters, cultivating something bigger, something deeper. Discipline isn't brute force. It's not rigid control. It's a constant practice, a cycle of intention and action. When we understand that discipline is an act of love and respect for ourselves, it becomes something natural, fluid, transformative. With every disciplined gesture, we're not just completing tasks, we're connecting with our truest essence. Because it's in the simplicity of our daily actions that we find the path to prosperity. Prosperity in body, mind, and spirit. At its core, discipline is an act of trust. Trust that the seeds planted today will bear fruit in the future. It doesn't demand haste or force immediate results. On the contrary, it teaches patience and the importance of the process. But for many, discipline seems like a burden, something heavy and hard to maintain. This happens when we view it as a series of strict rules. However, when we see it as a tool for self-awareness, we realize that discipline is the key to freedom. By being true to our commitments, we gain a lightness that can only be achieved through balance. Discipline is waking up early not because we have to, but because we choose to. It's meditating not because it's an obligation, but because we recognize the power of presence. It's taking care of our body and mind, knowing that consistency lays a firm foundation for our dreams to blossom. Great transformations don't happen overnight. They're the result of small gestures repeated day after day. Discipline, when applied in small doses, has the power to create lasting change. We often underestimate the impact of a simple habit, like waking up a little earlier, taking a few minutes to reflect, or practicing daily gratitude. Yet, it's in these small choices that we build the foundation of our prosperity. A small act today, no matter how insignificant it may seem, becomes a great pillar for tomorrow. The key to success isn't in performing extraordinary actions sporadically, but in maintaining consistency in small practices. It's this consistency that allows us to evolve, grow, and achieve our goals. Quiet discipline, applied daily, is like water eroding stone, slowly but relentlessly. When we incorporate simple habits into our routine, like mindful breathing, organizing our space, or planning our day, we create a chain of actions that feed into each other, leading us to results that may have once seemed distant. Small habits, big results. This is the path to true prosperity. Taking care of oneself is an act of discipline, an act of love. Yet, we often confuse self-care with indulgence or superficiality. True self-care is not an escape from responsibilities, but an intentional practice that strengthens us and aligns us with our purpose. Discipline teaches us that caring for our mind, body, and spirit is just as important as completing any other task. It's through self-care that we recharge our energies and become capable of serving the world, others, and ourselves better. Self-care is honoring the body with healthy food, taking time for adequate rest, disconnecting from external noise, and finding a moment for silence and reflection. These simple and intentional acts create a solid foundation for us to achieve our dreams and goals. When we treat self-care as a disciplined commitment, it becomes a sacred practice, connecting us with our essence and allowing us to flourish with strength and clarity. Discipline and self-care go hand in hand. By taking care of yourself, you prepare for what's to come with more energy, focus, and balance. Life moves in rhythms. Just like sunrise and sunset mark the beginning and end of each day, we too have our own cycles. There are moments for action and moments for rest. Moments to plant and moments to harvest. When we tune into these rhythms, our discipline aligns with something greater, purpose. It stops being a task and becomes a natural flow. Every step we take, every act we perform gains meaning. We are in harmony with what life asks of us. Discipline isn't about forcing your way, but walking consciously. It's understanding that there is a right time for everything. When we find this balance between action and rest, our energy flows better, our results multiply, and our connection to our purpose strengthens. Following our sacred rhythms means honoring the time for introspection and the time for achievement. It's a subtle dance between doing and being, and in this balance, we find true prosperity and peace. Dreaming is the first step, but for dreams to manifest, action is required. And action, sustained by discipline, is what turns visions into reality. Discipline is the link that connects our deepest desires to the material world. It's the bridge between intention and realization. Dreaming gives us direction, but discipline gives us the power to walk the path, day after day, toward that dream. The process of manifesting a dream isn't linear. There are ups and downs, moments of doubt, moments of uncertainty. But it's in these very moments that discipline becomes most valuable. It keeps us grounded when motivation fades, reminding us that our commitment to our dreams is stronger than the obstacles we encounter along the way. When we apply discipline consistently and kindly, we create space for life to surprise us. The dream draws nearer, almost as if it's coming to meet us. Discipline, then, isn't a prison but the key to freedom, to realizing the deepest desires of the soul. Self-control isn't about repression. It's about knowing when to act and when to wait. It's about recognizing that not every impulse needs to be followed, that there is wisdom in pausing, reflecting, and choosing with awareness. Discipline is born from self-control. It's this ability to direct our own will that allows us to move forward, even in the face of distractions and the temptation to give up. But self-control alone isn't enough. It must be accompanied by trust. Trust in the process. Trust that, although the results aren't immediate, every step taken with intention brings us closer to our purpose. Often, the fruits of discipline take time to appear, but it's precisely in moments of uncertainty that we need to trust more deeply. When you believe in the path you've chosen, self-control strengthens, and self-control strengthens, and self-control strengthens. And so, discipline stops being an effort and becomes a natural expression of your faith in the process. By combining self-control and trust, you create an unshakable foundation for any journey you choose to embark on. At first glance, discipline and flow may seem like opposites. Discipline reminds us of structure and control, while flow speaks to freedom and adaptability. But in reality, these two forces coexist harmoniously. Discipline without flow can become rigidity, a prison that suffocates us. Flow without discipline, on the other hand, can leave us adrift without clear direction. It's in the balance of these two forces that we find the true power of transformation. Discipline gives us the foundation, the structure to move forward, but flow allows us to adjust course when necessary. It's like water that, when it encounters an obstacle, doesn't stop but simply flows around it and continues on. Discipline guides us. Flow adapts us. Living with discipline is honoring our commitments to ourselves, but living with flow is allowing the path to reveal itself in its own wisdom. It's not about forcing or controlling, but about letting things unfold in their own time while maintaining consistency in our actions. When we balance discipline and flow, we find a lighter, more prosperous life in harmony with the universe. Spirituality doesn't need to be something reserved for special moments or complex rituals. It can be present in every daily action, from the first moments of the day to the last thought before sleep. And discipline is what turns these simple actions into sacred practices. When we choose to act with intention, every small gesture can become a way to connect with something greater. Preparing a meal with mindfulness, taking deep breaths between tasks, or simply setting aside a moment to express gratitude for the day's gifts. All of these are acts of discipline that connect us with our spirituality. True discipline doesn't distance us from spirituality. On the contrary, it brings us closer. It's the thread that weaves together practical life and spiritual life, making them inseparable. By treating each daily act as an opportunity to be present and act with purpose, we elevate our daily routines to a sacred level. Discipline, then, ceases to be an obligation and becomes a spiritual practice, an act of devotion to ourselves, to our journey, and to the greater purpose we are here to fulfill. In the end, discipline is not about control or rigidity. It's about freedom. Freedom to live the life we truly want, to realize our dreams, and to manifest our deepest purposes. It's the key that opens the doors to prosperity, not just material prosperity, but spiritual prosperity. When we integrate discipline into our lives, we transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Every day, with small steps, we shape ourselves, refining who we are and creating a future more aligned with our deepest intentions. Now, look at your life with new eyes. See discipline not as a burden, but as a gentle guide that brings you closer to who you truly are. Use it to create harmony between your material goals and your spiritual growth. And remember, discipline, when applied with intention, not only transforms your life, but also creates the space for true abundance in all areas. If you're ready to take another step on this journey of growth, watch our final video, Master Your Finances, Live in Abundance. In it, we explore how to align your finances with your spiritual values and how true wealth is lived with purpose and wisdom. Discipline begins today, but prosperity is built over time. Discover how discipline can also transform your relationship with money and pave the way to a fulfilled life.